everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on the show today, Dan, we're going to, in a way, we're continuing our conversation about canceling and by talking about uncanceling.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna talk. Look, here's the thing. All of this bullshit about cancel culture is just scaremongering by the morons in the GOP right now. But there are legitimate conversations to be had around it, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna real talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it, and of course we have our normal stories coming right up. But first, a quick reminder for everybody about a patrons only live stream event that's coming up this Monday, March 8th at 7 p.m. We're gonna be holding a little family home evening.
Yeah,
Dan and I are.
A little live stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. Our patrons get to join.
Yeah.
The rest of you are twisting in the wind. So if you don't want to be out there twisting, you got until then to sign up as a patron.
Absolutely. Patrons will be receiving instructions on how to join the live stream.
Via the emails.
Look for that email.
Yeah.
Coming out. All right.
Yeah. Check your junk box and stuff. I don't know. Does our stuff go to junk? Probably sometimes.
Well, it starts off as junk.
I'm surprised our podcast doesn't go to people's junk boxes.
All right, Dan, are you familiar with Eurovision?
Am I familiar?
Oh,
yes,
my
yes,
God.
I am.
Do you love Eurovision?
I have literally zero understanding of what's going on at any given moment in Eurovision. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I love it.
I think the general gist is, right, that European countries send musical numbers to a central competition.
Right.
This year it's in the Netherlands. I don't know if that's normally the case. Maybe does it travel around?
I think last year it was in Israel.
Oh,
which
my.
How is that Euro? I don't know. But okay.
It works.
This is one of the things that I'm baffled. Every turn I am baffled by Eurovision. I don't yes, I think that that's the right setup, but I watch what they send and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
That's the act that you've chosen to have represent your whole country.
Your whole country. You know, I mean, some of these countries are small, right? And so maybe they just don't have quite the pool of talent.
They're
to
basically
draw
gag
from,
countries.
maybe?
The whole country is just basically a gimmick country. I get it. Andorra, you're cute. You're basically just a mountain. So
yeah,
send whatever you want. But there are legitimate countries sending crazy. Anyway, I love it. I'm glad they do it. I just don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, this is a story about Cyprus and their submission this year to Eurovision. It's by the singer Elena Sagrino. And who she apparently rose to fame at the age of 14. This was in 2009. After making it to the semifinal of Greece's Got Talent.
Okay.
But her song, the song is causing quite the stir, Dan.
Oh, no.
So much so that the Church of Cyprus has weighed in and adamantly opposes and is calling upon the Cyprus Broadcasting Company or Corporation or something along those lines.
Sure.
Anyway, I guess it's like they're the ones who picked to send her. It's not like a government delegation, which I would have preferred that it be some sort of, ad hoc committee of the
right.
of whatever. But no, it's the broadcaster, it's the national broadcaster, and they're calling on them to please pick another song because they don't like her song, which is called El Diablo.
Okay.
Which is the devil.
The devil.
Right? In
Spanish, not Greek.
Right. I know. It's really strange. And she sings in English, but then she says El Diablo. It's it's got such amazing lines as, tonight we gonna burn in a party. It's heaven and hell with you. Right?
Okay.
Clever.
Sure.
Also, I gave my heart to El Diablo because he tells me I'm his angel.
Oh.
Ooh, okay.
Spicy.
It's got, you know, all the things that you would expect from a song coming from Cyprus, I suppose. It's a dance.
I really have no expectations from a Cyprus song. I'm afraid
it's a dancey pop song, right?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's what you expect for.
That's what
Eurovision.
you would sort of expect, right? Lots of auto tune. There's one point where like a children's choir kind of comes in. You know how they do. They have kids singing too. That's kind of fun.
How about El Diablo?
It ends well. I watched the music video, and there's like all these like bare chest men, but they're painted all like not black. It's not like blackface or anything like that, but just kind of like a dark gray. So they kind of just blend into the shadows, right?
Ooh. Shadowy
and
Diablo men.
And you never really see their faces, right? But they're kind of dancing around her and kind of menacingly and everything. And let's see. The oddest thing about the song or the music video is there seems to be like a skin lotion ad in the middle of it. It's really, really, really strange. Anyway, back to the Holy Synod of the Orthodox Church of Cyprus, which has issued a strongly worded statement expressing its intense disagreement and frustration with the selection of the song, saying the song favored our global ridicule by advocating our surrender to the devil and promoting his worship, while praising the fatalistic submission of humans to the devil's power.
Okay, well, I'm going to speak directly to the Cyprus broadcasting whatever. I know you guys are listening, and thanks for your continued support. But if I may suggest an answer to the church, how about shut up?
Well,
just shut up.
The record label felt the need to respond.
Sure.
And so they say that the song tells the story of a girl who finds herself trapped in an exploitative relationship with a bad guy. Hence, she calls him El Diablo. It is the eternal struggle between evil and good. Through this problematic Stockholm Syndrome relationship, and despite the paranoia she experiences, in the end, the truth always shines, and she seeks help to break the ties on a path to freedom, right? And the church is having none of it, right?
If it says the word devil, it's about the devil, and that's the end.
It says that it has been contacted by thousands of citizens expressing displeasure at the song, and they describe the lyrics as provocative and unacceptable and completely at odds with our people's values.
Again, the correct response is shut up.
Seriously, though, if you want to watch a really, really bad music video of a pretty bad song, I highly recommend this.
Put the link in the show notes.
I was laughing hysterically.
And send me the link too. I want to see it.
I'm not a fan of that style of music to begin with, so. But seriously, there is like, I don't know why she always, like, the camera pans past, so she's like in the background, and in the foreground is like this like store display setup of like some lotion skin product, something or other. And I'm like, what is going on here? And then like a minute later,
to make her skin gray.
She has the lotion and she's like squeezing it into her hand and kind of smearing it around. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with anything else in this music video. This clearly is product placement.
Well, what you don't know is that El Diablo was very fond of saying, it rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yeah. Anyhow.
Buffalo Bill, El Diablo. Okay, I am going to bring us back here to these United States, where, unusually, I'm going to launch with some kind of good news.
What? No.
I know.
Yep.
Brace yourselves, everybody. Look, we talk a lot about all of the bullshit that happens in this country, and there's plenty. And one of the things that we've talked about many times over the years is the fact that a huge percentage of the adoptions that happen in our country go through faith-based adoption services.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
And they are traditionally, we'll call it, reluctant to adopt kids to LGBTQ families.
Right.
Which is some bullshit, and it's stupid, and flies in the face of all known facts about good homes and whatever.
Right.
But doesn't fly in the face of a Bronze Age stupid book. So they're walking a line, is all I'm saying. Well, that line was easier for them to walk under the Trump administration because, of course, the Trump administration was like, The Obama administration had said, look, we're not going to give you any federal funding unless you serve all Americans equally.
Right.
To which a lot of adoption services were like, we give up. We don't do it anymore. That's not our job anymore.
Right.
But a few tried to sort of walk the line. Under Trump, Trump totally took away those protections and said, go ahead and discriminate all you want. Well, all of these places have been watching, and they know that a Biden administration is totally going to undo the damage that the Trump administration did, and so they've been figuring themselves out. And one of the big dogs, this is a Protestant adoption agency called Bethany Christian Services, has decided that across the board, all over the country, they will serve LGBTQ couples.
Wow.
So I think that's great. They have been sort of in a piecemeal way. Like, for instance, in 2018, the city of Philadelphia suspended all of their contracts with them for a while, and they decided to change their policy in Philadelphia and help and serve the LGBTQ community there.
And then they
but not everywhere.
And then they discovered that Philadelphia didn't get swallowed up by the ground, right?
Yeah, their offices
did not
weren't
open up, and
Satan's tail did not stab at them from the depths of hell or whatever.
Okay, it's not that big of a deal. Oh wait, the gay couples they're really good parents. Shit.
Apparently they tried to. Apparently they they had a big come to Jesus moment with themselves in January when they realized, oh shit, this inauguration's happening. We could lose all of our funding. They of course didn't frame it in terms of like, we don't want to lose our funding, but they just said, we've made a new decision and we are going to do it in all 50 states, or however many states they're in. I think they're only in 30. No, they're in 32 states. So there you go.
I don't know. You're just, questioning their motivations, Dan.
I am. I'm very suspicious of them, but
they came to the right conclusion.
If they're going in the right direction, I'll give them credit at least for that.
That's, what that is? That's society moving forward right there.
Boom.
That's an example, right?
The Catholics, I'm sure, will be slow to follow.
Yeah.
But at least we got the Protestants on board.
Yeah. When will the Mormons? Because they've got their big family services thing too.
The Mormons have hitched their trailer to the Trump train. I think they're in real trouble.
Oh God, no kidding. All right, Dan. Speaking of religious stuff,
as we are wont to do.
Speaking of churches and whatnot, religious groups reckoning with homosexuality. Interesting story this week about some movement over at the United Methodist Church, which has been facing potential schism over the issue.
Yeah.
The
United part is a little bit flimsy right now.
I guess it was a couple years ago. I remember us talking about it.
We've talked about it a bunch of times, but the problem is they keep saying they're going to come to a decision about it, and then they keep pushing it back.
Yeah. Well, a couple years ago, I mean, they did. They ended up they voted on the issue, and the pro sort of accepting gay people into our fully into our community by blessing marriages, and more than actually conducting marriages, and potentially even allowing clergy, I think, was on the table. They were outvoted by the conservative flank of the church, which found a lot of support internationally, right, from the African and Philippine delegates at the convention. Right. But
it's always the Africans. It doesn't matter which denomination we're talking about, Anglicans or whatever. The Africans are always going to be pulling you back.
Wow. That's a bold and broad statement, Dan.
Yeah, which I in no way could back up with thousands of facts, but that's okay. Keep going.
All right. Apparently, after that meeting, moderates and liberal clergy made it clear that they were not going to follow the rules, and so this whole issue has been continuing to percolate, and there is now a movement to schiz. They're going to call themselves the Global Methodist Church.
But to be clear, that's the conservative side that's getting ready to just bolt.
And listen to the wording, that global, so you know who they're aligning with, right? They're getting those conservative Africans and or African and Filipino congregations to go along with them. And what I find really interesting about this is they only seem to be weird on the issue of LGBT acceptance into their community, because their plan is to ordain women. Yeah, the only thing that they're really just fucking miffed about is gay people getting into the clergy and getting married and all that kind of stuff, and they just cannot abide it at all, Dan.
I don't know, Frank, if you've ever read that Bible book that they like so much, but that main character, that Jesus guy, you know, the guy Jesus who always hung out with only other guys and never actually had a wife or even any mention of dating or anything. That dude hated gays. That's one thing we know for sure. So it all just makes sense.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well,
yeah,
it's something else. Like, it does feel like the conservatives in this world are not going to deal with losing their privilege and being in the majority of the groups that they belong to, right? And that's, they just can't handle that society's changing, obviously. And I don't think this really bodes well for the future. You know what I mean?
For the future of who? Of the global Methodists?
No, I mean in general. So just where society's at the moment.
I see.
Like the people are unwilling to, in any way, shape, or form, have anything to do with people who disagree with them and see the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's religion, and you just want to be around people who think exactly the same way as you. But
it's dogmatic. They have to know what the dogma is, and so when that changes for somebody and not for somebody else,
you
got to schiz. That's all you got left with you. So skiz they shall. Well, I'm going to take us to Missouri. A little place called Malden, Missouri, where a big-time pastor, Pastor Stuart Allen Clark, with... It's funny because I'm used to hyphenated names, but not the first two. I'm used to the last two names being hyphenated. His first name is Stuart Allen.
That's so you know to say both of them. So people don't call, people
don't call him Stuart.
Yeah.
You don't want to call him Allen.
Yeah.
His name is Stuart Allen. I'm going to call him Stewie. Anyway, Stewie did a rousing sermon about 2 weeks ago, which caught some national attention, especially after our friend Hemant Mehta over at the Friendly Atheist posted about the sermon and cut together a real nice clip show of it. It was not cute. Basically, the sermon was about women. And he asked the question, and I think, this is obviously a very valid question. Why do women let themselves go after they get married? Basically, what he said was, if your marriage is in trouble, might be your fault for being so damn fat.
Oh, my God.
Was the full thrust of the entire thing.
Oh, my God.
He said, look, not every woman, and I watched this, he said things like, not every woman can be a trophy wife like Melania Trump.
Oh, my God.
By the way, yes, using trophy wife as a positive thing. But he understands, he recognizes that not every woman can be a Melania.
Well, that's very generous.
But... He says when a couple comes in for him for marriage counseling, which he admits, and this is a good thing, he no longer does marriage counseling, which I think we'll discover that that's a good thing. But he said when they would come in for marriage counseling, and the woman would say, "What can I do to keep our marriage together?" He had an answer.
Oh God!
And it was always he said that, quote, physical beauty is within the reach of every woman.
Oh, God.
He doesn't want you to look like a butch, is what he's getting at.
Does he say that?
That was his term.
A butch. Okay.
He doesn't want you to look like a butch.
He said that probably the nicest way he could.
No, he was not trying to be nice. None of this was, he was not angling for nice at all.
He could have made that a little more nasty toward the lesbians, is what I'm saying.
Right. Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
You don't want to look like,
one of them bull dykes. That's not a nice thing to say. I apologize for using that phrase.
That's why I stopped. So that you could say it instead of me.
That's right. That's right. You took a sharp left, and I just kept driving. Listen... So anyway, there have been apparently some consequences. The General Baptist, there was an association of General Baptist, a General Association of General Baptist meeting. They used general twice. That wasn't me. That was set to take place in July of 2022. He was set to be the moderator of the entire meeting.
Okay.
He has resigned from that position.
Oh,
but. Then, recently, the his church, which is First General Baptist Church in Malden, Missouri, their website has now basically almost nothing on it, but it does say that as of 2 days ago, Pastor Clark has taken leave. It's a leave of absence.
No, really?
And is seeking professional counseling. So,
because he's a lunatic.
P.S. This will shock exactly 0 of our listeners, including you, but Want to take a guess what this guy looks like? Because look,
I'm sure.
I am not into shaming people's looks at all. But when you go after women for being fat, when you do an entire fucking sermon about how women have some sort of moral obligation to be thin for their husbands, you can't look like a piggy. He is a fat man, and I have no problem with him being fat unless he starts yelling at other people that they have to be skinny.
Right.
It's insane.
Well,
I'm very
amazing.
angry about it.
Yeah, that's really amazing because also it's just the whole idea it's really 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 awful. Anyway,
when you can tuck your shirt in,
Dan,
then you get to talk about no, you never get to talk about anybody else's body, but the man can't even tuck his own shirt in.
Yeah. I mean, but see, here's the deal. From his perspective, men are always disgusting, right? Right. And women can be so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
He's thinking.
If they just manage their weight.
And they clearly, I mean, look around. You see hot women with dumpy guys all the time. They clearly don't care.
Oh my God. This guy. Yeah, I mean, the notion that men have a right to a beautiful wife, but women don't have a right to a handsome husband,
right?
It's just chef kiss, mwah, perfect. It's just thanks, exactly right. You're doing Christianity just as you're supposed to.
The
patriarchy is alive and well.
Yep.
Bravo.
Yep.
Stewie.
Oh, my God. All right, Dan.
Yeah.
Over there at CPAC, that's the Conservative Political Action Conference.
Oh,
Dan,
good stuff. It was a good conference this year. This was a good year for CPAC.
Yeah, well, I've got something that happened at CPAC that I want to share. Something that sort of showed up at CPAC. Did you hear about the golden statue of Donald Trump? That showed up, Dan? That portrayed Donald Trump in a sort of a suit coat, but while wearing shorts and flip flops. It was truly an unbelievable color of
masterpiece.
Gold. Yes,
it was a masterpiece, an artistic masterwork.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going for?
Yeah, no, I was going to say that it's they took inspiration clearly from the unbelievable colors that Donald Trump himself could achieve.
Right.
And so the sculptor is one Mr. Tommy Zegan. He's a California-based artist, according to this article. And he created this Trump statue in response to multiple pieces of art that he'd seen that were mocking Trump. He says, 2 years ago when I saw all those statues of naked Trump and Trump on a toilet, I said, you know what? I can do better. And by better, and by creating a graven image...
Yeah,
I don't know which version of better
he was going
decided to worship. Apparently, I guess the better version is one that sort of makes a mockery of sort of Christian faith itself, and
also not for nothing, it's a caricature.
Oh yeah,
it's not a faithful representation of the. It's not like it. It's not highlighting his nobility, which he didn't have any, but like no artist could look at this, could make this thing and say, this is in honor of a great man.
Oh, no, Dan, no. He feels like he really, really is honoring Trump. He says the whole thing, because, it's people are like shorts and flip-flops, and he goes, no, it's all symbolic. He says the coat and tie is the fact that he's a professional, a businessman. The red tie symbolizes he's a Republican. The red, white, and blue is that he's a patriot. the fact that he's wearing thongs and shorts is that he's at an age where he should be retired. He should be at the beach right now. Okay, so this guy
has a real handle on symbolism, folks. He really understands it, and he gets it deep.
Well, and he really wants everybody to know, of course, that the piece on display at CPAC is actually a fiberglass mold of the real stainless steel sculpture currently stored in his warehouse, where it's awaiting a potentially high-profile showcase. He says it's a museum quality, and that's the one I'm eventually hoping to get in the Trump library. It's literally priceless, he says.
Oh, my God. I adore it so much. Let me tell you something. This fucking thing is a bobblehead, okay? It is not... Like, literally, it's like going to Venice Beach and having a caricature artist do a picture of Donald Trump and then making that into a sculpture.
No. But he actually brings up something that makes me really, really, really scared and very interested to see what they come up with, which is, of course, the Trump library.
Oh, well,
what is the Trump library going to be like? Because I guarantee you, this guy gets this thing in, right? It's just going to be the most horrifying collection of gold-gilded and rococo, horrible,
it's
tasteless.
Gonna be a disaster.
Oh my God! It's going to look like...
here's what we know for sure. It's going to be neoclassical architecture.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes,
there's going to be columns. Literally every square foot is going to have a column in it,
except for the Melania room.
Except
and it's going to be sparse with angular.
Which will look like it'll look like a bloodbath. It'll look like someone has murdered 1,000 people in it. And then for the library part, it will just be 3 shelves of The Art of the Deal for sale. Anyway,
which you can purchase after passing through the casino on your way to the gift shop.
Oh man! All right, yeah, you have to, and you have to play through in mini golf. Like you can't, you're not allowed to not golf when you go. All right, well, I'm going to leave us in Alabama, where there's been a small triumph for the FUFRF.
Oh, in Alabama, all right,
in Alabama of all places. The FUFRF wrote to Alabama on behalf of some residents who are anonymous, but what we know about them is that they are members of the Satanic Temple, which I like. I am a fan of the Satanic Temple. Mm-hmm. And they decided that they wanted the Alabama license plate for their car, S8TAN.
Yes.
So Satan.
Yes.
Basically, and they wanted that.
Why not?
And
why did they have to spell it with an 8? Just to be clever? You already have a
to be
T.
Cute. Yeah, you could spell it S8AN.
Yeah, be hard.
Or you could spell it SATAN, I guess.
But maybe the normal spelling.
Because they're being fun,
right,
Frank?
I know.
Let them be fun.
I know.
Anyway, this was summarily declined. I think it was provisionally allowed and then declined.
Oh.
And the FUFRF decided to step in and write a letter because why the fuck is... Like, they wouldn't have declined I Heart Jesus or whatever. They wouldn't have declined, Christian.
Right.
So why would they decline this? And really, it's always funny when you just make somebody defend their indefensible position. Because, what the Alabama Department of Revenue Motor Vehicle Division said was that it was... it contained objectionable language, which is considered offensive to the peace and dignity of the state of Alabama.
Oh, no.
Which, okay, tell me why. It's just a character. It's a deity.
Yeah.
So you tell me why that. If it said Ganesh, would you be? Anywho, eventually, and also as Hemant Mehta points out. This is a state where you can still get a license plate with a Confederate flag on it.
Oh, Jesus.
So you guys don't get to talk too much about what's offensive, okay? You just have to sort of take your lumps on this one. Anyway, it turns out that they basically had nothing backing them up, and they gave it to him.
Nice.
So now someone is, I mean, it may be valid to question the wisdom of this decision, but someone's driving around a car in Alabama that says Satan on it.
I hope it's not a very nice car.
Right?
I hope. I mean,
and if it's not now, it will be a not very nice car shortly.
Be burned out very soon.
Yeah.
Oh golly. Ugh.
But hooray for the right thing happening, and I'm very happy for them.
I honestly just, I mean, vanity plates, really.
Stop it.
I know people have them.
Don't shame them.
I know. We probably have a lot of listeners that have vanity plates, and go for it, right? But like, I love the ones that are like, it just like says what kind of car it is. Lexus. Have you seen those?
Yeah, that's the best one.
It's like, just so you could remember it, right? Like you couldn't remember your license plate number when you like had to check into a hotel, and you're like, I'm going to fix this. Lexus.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, listen, folks, if you would like to yell at Frank and tell him how cool your vanity plate is, I'd love to have you write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message that explains why it just says RAV4 on your license plate. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around. There's more show coming up. Hey, Dan.
Yes?
We're about to play a clip that I don't even know what to make of, right? Because, like, there are moments when, like that Christians have just stopped being anything recognizable, right? Like, we know this. Like, they're just evangelical Christians. I don't know where the Christianity is half the time, right?
American evangelicalism has given up on all the notions of things like dignity or
decency.
Or Christianity. They've given up on that entirely.
Seriously, being a good Christian. I remember when my Baptist neighbors and the people at school, right, that there was an idea of being a good Christian.
Yeah.
And it wasn't this.
No. So, of course, the Christians of Texas, especially, are they're their own breed. The guy that we're going to play, I guess his name is Keith Kraft. He's a pastor.
Keith Kraft.
Keith Kraft at Elevate Life Church in Frisco, Texas. This guy, how would you describe his outfit, Frank?
Clashing?
I would say he seems to be wearing a T-shirt with a reflective sword going straight down the middle of it.
He's both dark and shiny. It's very...
And then maybe a leather vest.
There's definitely a leather vest. And so the clip starts in really tight, right? When you watch the video. And you just kind of see belly up, right? And then they cut to the wide shot at one point, and then he has like these look, I think they're camo, but like black and white with gray camo pants.
Camo skinny jeans. And probably wildly expensive sneakers.
Yeah. And because the evangelical pastors are all into their expensive sneakers for some reason.
Yeah.
But people like to clash patterns sometimes, and in the hands of a real fashionista, like they can do it. But this guy
cannot do it.
He cannot.
First of all, he looks like I don't know. He looks like he's Gary Busey's younger brother, but not that much younger.
But just as crazy.
He's in his 60s, maybe late 50s. He's not looking good. He's about to yell at you. That's what we're getting at. He's going to talk to us about masks and wearing COVID masks. Here we go.
Yeah, in fact, we're encouraging you to double up. I said, that is not going to happen. It says you're going to have to wear this kind of mask. Now it's this kind of mask. What? We live in such a fear and mongering, control and manipulation society that some of y'all have drank it like Kool-Aid. And I'm just here to tell you, we are the sons of God in the earth. And guess what? We're not afraid. We're not afraid. Hey, listen, let me go on record and say it. I had COVID. If I had died, then I died of COVID. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of a heart attack. I'm not afraid when it's my time to go. We can't cower. We can't play. We can't play small. We can't hide. We gotta live. We're the sons of God in the earth. That's who you are. And our country's being run by a bunch of pussies. That's the only way I can say it. So record that and send that.
Well, somebody did record it,
and that's why we're
using
hearing
it now.
And I'm aghast. I don't even like. Here's
the thing.
He says pussy.
Yeah.
On the dais.
Yeah. He's
like,
preaching.
What the fuck?
He's just. Yeah, remember
now,
when there was any amount of like decorum or dignity to religion?
Yeah. Well, I think the moment that they stopped actually like meeting in churches and just like meet in warehouses, something happened. You know,
in the old, whatever store in the strip mall.
Yeah. I mean, the weird store in the strip mall. I'll look the other way for that. Right, in a way, because it's like you're a startup, you're getting whatever space you can, right?
Sure.
I'm talking about these places, they sell, like the K2 or whatever we went to here in Salt Lake, right?
The Rock and Roll Church?
Yeah. And it was like, it wasn't like this, that's for sure.
Nobody yelled pussies.
Which is just mind-boggling. But it's like a fucking warehouse, and they like it. They like the aesthetic, and it's like... the moment that they stopped trying to hearken to something higher, right?
Right.
Trying to look to the heavens for inspiration rather than just being a bunch of jerks.
This is your fault,
in
Martin
a warehouse.
Luther. Look what you have wrought, Martin Luther.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well... We'll move past both the fear and the mongering to get to what we had some folks write into us and call into us. So I'll start us off. Rob wrote into us to say, "Hey, Frank and Dan, your segment I should be able to speak. Your segment on the hijab in animation piqued my interest. I thought depicting the humanoid form in art is haram in Islam." Which is why it's so much art from Islamic countries is geometric in nature.
Yeah.
So wouldn't animation be idolatry at 24 frames per second? I'd welcome being corrected if I'm wrong, as I'm not any sort of expert on Islam, but I did take a couple of animation classes about 1,000 years ago. So okay, cool. Here's the thing. It definitely was. Like, there was definitely a prohibition on creating imagery of any kind in Islam. Yeah. Which is why you're right. If you go to, a few 100-year-old Muslim mosques or any kind of structure, if you go to the Taj Mahal or, anything like that, you're not going to see pictures. You're going to see either really cool, very intricate geometric patterns because the Arab world was amazing at geometry. Yeah. Or you're going to see Arabic script, like words and letters,
calligraphy,
made to look like gorgeous, like very graphic, calligraphic sort of image. It's not images, but it's definitely not just supposed to be words. It's supposed to be beautiful, decorative calligraphy. I don't know when it changed. I know you still can't draw Muhammad. Yeah. And neither can any of us, apparently.
Well, and I know that your typical Muslim family isn't going to have like pictures hanging up in their house and that kind of stuff, right? It's going to be more like, the kind of stuff you just described. There's going to be, they'll put some calligraphy on the wall somewhere.
Right.
But yeah, that's a really interesting question because like I would assume that somewhere around the same time that like moving pictures, I mean, because like they don't have any problem with like a camera taking an image of a human being and transmitting it into your home.
They make movies, they make television.
Yeah. But it is interesting though that there is, should there for them be a line, right? And how have they reckoned with that? I don't know. We should have looked it up. But it's a great question.
Well, we still haven't looked it up, so there. Take that, Rob.
Come to us for answers.
Prepared.
Don't come to us for answers.
Somebody can write in. Somebody might be an expert on. Maybe a former Muslim can write into us.
Someone with that kind of background would be able to speak to far better than we can. So,
indeed. So why don't we've got a voicemail? Why don't we play that?
We do, Dan. This is a listener who has a question for us and seeking advice, as people sometimes do. I don't know if that's wise to seek advice from us.
Very poor choice, but we'll try.
This is Mark, and he's got a question about dealing with like religious parents, and when they start to kind of maybe encroach a little too much into what's going on in your life.
Hi, Frank and Dan. My name's Mark. I've called a couple times before, but I just figured I'd tell you guys about an incident and see what you guys had to think. I'm married, and my wife is bisexual, and my parents don't really know that. My parents don't know we're atheists, but they know we're not religious. Now, there's not a huge difference between not religious and atheist if you just look at it as a blanket term, but they've been intruding more and more, and it's starting to make us both very uncomfortable. I actually work out at their house in the mornings before work, and I found in my backpack a book about the way a Christian marriage should be, what a Christian marriage looks like, and, you know, information about why we should go to church and things like that. I'm just wondering at what point and what's more important, really? Do we address the aspect of the relationship first? Like, do I come out so that my parents stop tormenting us this way? Or do I try to preserve parental relationships as well? I don't know how you guys have experienced it in the past, but, you know, I can see it. It's not going super well. I just thought I'd get you guys' thoughts on it. Because our relationship was getting better with my parents, but now they're starting to err more on the Jesus-y side of things, which is always fun and destructive. So thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Well, you're just in a fun situation, aren't you? Oh, man.
Religious parents.
It's a story we've heard 100 times.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you're being repetitive. Don't worry. I'm just saying, like, yeah, you're in good company.
Yeah.
A lot of people are having to deal with this thing. And it's not easy. It's just not easy. And you're going to the truth is we can't tell you, like, we don't know your parents. We don't even know you.
Right.
So we can't really tell you what the right choice to make is.
Right.
But what we can tell you is that, you know, first of all, this is not going to get better without a conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, it's probably going to get worse. It's probably going to intensify. It sounds like they're ramping up their efforts, and they're going to a place every week that's telling them they have to ramp up their efforts, or you're going to, they're saving you from hell.
Yeah.
That's not going to go away.
Pretty high stakes for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from the fact that you're their child and they have all these, dreams of, they had all these hopes for who you would be.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you're either going to have to put up with, I think the conversation's coming. I don't think you're going to be able to avoid it because they're going to start asking you why you're not going to church. They're going to start pushing you to go to church. And when you say no, they're going to say why. So I would say prep gear up and then have the conversation on your terms?
I think that's huge. My sister was kind of wrestling with something similar, and she was asking me what I thought, and knowing our parents, I was like, it's not about having the upper hand, but
no,
if they come asking to you, you're on different footing than if you go to them.
Right.
Like, they're having to ask, is there something that you were hiding? Especially like with my parents, they're just so that they're very good at making you feel like you've done something wrong.
Right.
Like,
weird parents. I've never heard of religious parents being like that. That's weird. Why would that happen?
So, which Mark probably can empathize with and relate to.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I think it's good to or just wise to be the initiator of the conversation, right?
But here's the thing. The one of the main reasons you want to be the initiator is because you can start it. You can choose where it comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's true
because
too.
What you don't want it to be is a confrontation.
Right.
I don't think, because it sounds to me like you love your parents, you want to be a part of their lives, you want them to be a part of your lives. You just want it to be safe, comfortable, and loving. And you don't feel that currently. So you can go to them with that intention in mind, which is, because you can say, hey, I found this book in my backpack. I know that you were trying to send a message with that, and I'm sure that it's coming from a place of love in you. But I have to tell you something. It doesn't make me feel loved. It makes me feel unheard. It makes me feel unseen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to talk to you about it. I want to work through it. I want you to understand where we're coming from, and then I want us to understand where you're coming from, so that we can push forward in love and in consideration of each other, and not have ugliness underneath our relationship.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. Do better than what I just did. That's just a jumping off point.
Yeah. And again, with the caveat, your parents.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the number one thing here. Like, you know what they're capable of and what they're not capable of. And so just keep that in mind as well. So.
And also remember that this is not solved with a conversation.
It's true. Yeah.
I've never seen one conversation be the end of it. Usually these are years. This is a process, and there are going to be fallings out, and there are going to be upset times, and you've got to just buckle up and hope for the best, but also be prepared for the worst, because sometimes people lose their family. But sometimes that's an okay thing. If your family is not going to see you for who you are, accept you for who you are, love you for who you are, you can go out and choose more family that will.
Yeah. And their loss.
And their loss.
Yeah.
But that's not. But usually you can come around. I have friends who have come out to their family as gay, or come out to their family as atheist, and once they've been through, it was on the precipice of disowning, and then it pulled back. Eventually, it pulled back, and then eventually it got better, and then eventually it got much better. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, because we're not making predictions. It's gotten better, but then it plateaued.
yeah, and and you may find that you find a stasis point, and that's as good as it's going to get.
And it's still uncomfortable, and it's still gross after
20 years later, or whatever it is.
When did I start this whole process? I was like 21 or 22.
Oh,
so 22, 23, 24-ish years ago.
Maybe save the bisexual thing for down the road a bit.
Do not pile on. That is from somebody who piled on. My advice: do not pile on. It's not the best approach.
Okay. Peter wrote into us. He said, "Hey, I've been listening to the podcast, but have yet to compliment you on how awesome you are. Thank you for providing me with amazing, awesome, and insightful entertainment. I'm in South Florida, so sorry, and surrounded by assholes, but I have a beach and 80-degree weather as a low temperature for most of the year, so I can't complain that much." Anyway, Peter has a PS for us, which says, if you could include a shout-out to my daughter on a podcast, I'd be so thankful.
Oh.
So, what up, Lexi? How you doing? Anyway, thanks for writing in, Peter. We appreciate you. Hey, so we got to talk about the people who support us.
We do indeed.
And I'm going to launch us by saying that the easiest way to support us, the freest way to support us, the way that costs you nothing and yet we gain from it, is to give us 5 stars on the iTunes or whatever, and also write a review.
Yes.
So I'm going to read a review. This comes from Jay-Z on the Island.
And this just came in this week?
Just came in this week.
Oh, it's amazing.
With the headline, Dan, which is really funny because I had read it until this moment. I had read it as damn, but then I realized there's no M, so it's just about me. So suck it, Frank.
Wow, that's rude.
Yeah, I didn't. I honestly did not mean to do that, but there it is. I'm trying to be accurate here. Anyway, it says the review says, "Love the show. I listen every week. The hosts are fun to listen to, and they are both very funny. Highly recommend."
That's awesome.
Do you see how easy that is, you guys? All you have to do is just go on there and write something like that. Doesn't have to be good. That was good, but like you can write whatever you want. Just write some stuff. Throw 5 stars on there. If you feel like maybe we only deserve 3 or 4 stars, give us 5 stars. Yeah. That's how it works. And if you feel like we deserve 1 star, why are you listening? Anyway, I'm going to start us off also with the other way that people show us their love, which is through giving us their hard-earned cash. And we had someone on PayPal. So Terry, Dr. Terry, thank you so much for signing up on there. We appreciate that.
And we have some new patrons on Patreon, Dan.
Woohoo!
All of these folk, including Terry, went to, I assume, thankgodimatheist.com and clicked on the support tab. And followed it on over to the way that to support the show that they like the best.
We try to make it easy on you.
And so we actually have 3 new teachers this week.
Ooh. I should say that Terry is a deacon.
Oh,
so
great.
Everybody that supports us gets the priesthood. We confer the priesthood upon everybody. So we got a deacon. We got 3 teachers. Is
3 teachers. We have Alex, WC, and Tamara, and these 3 people now get to set up the sacrament.
Ooh. It's a beautiful thing to do.
We have the same authority as a 16-year-old boy.
No, as a 14-year-old boy.
14-year-old boy. And then we have a new priest, Dan. Veronica.
That's the 16-year-old. There you go.
And then Veronica can now bless the sacrament.
Oh, man. You guys have magic powers now. They don't do anything, but you have them. So that's amazing.
So thank you, everyone, for your support. And as always, we have our top donor to thank, our Lord and Savior, Davis. Dan.
Yeah.
Oh. Uncanceling someone. How does that work?
Well,
in the whole cancel culture thing.
Okay, first we have to get past this phrase "cancel culture" because the right has glommed onto it and they're running with it.
No, we need to reclaim it.
No, stop it. Stop fighting with me. What we need to do is just talk about the fact that it is a very good thing to rid our society of shit that we don't approve of.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Nazis. That's a great thing to rid our society of. Or systemic racism. What a wonderful thing that would be to get rid of in our society. We should try sometime. Anyway, that's not cancel culture. That's just called trying to be more decent as we move along and learn more.
Absolutely.
But it does end up meaning that certain shitheads we don't want to hear from anymore. And so that's what they are now labeling cancel culture and blah, 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 blah. And it's only cancel culture, by the way, when we do it.
Right.
Because when they literally canceled a rapper who was set to appear at CPAC because he had overtly anti-Semitic tweets and stuff, when they canceled him, literally canceled his appearance that was already booked, that wasn't cancel culture.
Right. Well, what are they doing every time they call another Republican a rhino, a Republican in name only, right?
Yeah.
That is canceling, right?
Yeah, literally, Trump at CPAC had a whole list of Republicans and told them to vote them out.
Canceling.
That's cancel culture. That's what that is. Anyway, fine. We've figured that out. We're cool, woke leftists, so we've figured out canceling. But there's this other side of it, which is how long is someone canceled for and for what? So one of our listeners, Tara, hi Tara, wrote into us and mentioned the Dr. Seuss story, which came out this week, in which the company that publishes Dr. Seuss's books, Dr. Seuss Enterprises, decided that they would stop publishing 6 of his books. If I Ran a Zoo, and there's a book called And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street. These are all children's books. They're picture books. And they have some, overtly racist imagery in them, and they're not great. I mean, the books themselves may have something redeeming in them. I've actually never seen those books before. But those ones, the Mulberry Street book has images of Asian people with slanty eyes and
uses the word Chinaman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even though he put them in Japanese dress or Japanese sandals or something. Yeah. Anyway, and some of his books depict African people just as badly, grass skirts and just completely insensitive. Yeah. These were published back in, I think, the 30s or 50s, something like that.
Yeah, I think you're more right on the 30s side of it. Yeah. It was kind of pre-war, if I remember right.
So, Mulberry Street 37. Yeah. There we go. So here's the thing. They're right. Let's not put those in front of young eyes anymore.
Right. Yeah.
The kids don't need to see that. It's not funny. That you thought it was funny back then. It's not anymore. It's racist. And so, we'll get rid of those. And then, of course, the cancel culture freaks on the right are screaming about it, blah, 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 because anything that the left cancels is not acceptable.
Well, now they must love. A book they didn't even know existed. Right.
Right, exactly. One that they're, yeah, exactly. They've never seen it.
My favorite one from my childhood. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So the question is, when do we accept them back? Yes, Dr. Seuss clearly went through, I'm not saying he went through a racist phase. He had racism in him and put it in his books.
Yeah.
But then later in his career, when he came up with books like Horton Hears a Who and The Sneetches, as Tara pointed out in her email, they're about fairness and diversity.
Right.
So can we allow for the fact that humans can grow and that people who are shitheads, at one stage in their life can actually make a change,
right,
and not be a shithead anymore? And can we accept that?
Well, and here's sort of, I want to like wade into the Dr. Seuss example just a little bit, because like that was the evolution of a man over the course of his life, right?
Yeah.
He whatever led him to developing new attitudes about race, he did, right?
Yeah.
But in light of our sort of where we're at right now, and kind of, especially, you know, I'm thinking about like Me Too and you know, the other issues that we've been talking about. We have people who are being called out for it, for their actions and for things that they've said, and who have a lot to lose and then potentially gain by making some sort of comeback, right? And so in this light, it's very, I mean, the Dr. Seuss example is a great one because it really highlights the evolution that somebody can have on an issue. But Dr. Seuss was never canceled.
Right.
He was on a path that led him to where he got, right?
Yeah. In his lifetime, nobody ever stood up and screamed at him about you know, his depiction of Asian American, of Asian people or of African people or whatever.
And so what does it take for somebody who has basically lost their status and is wanting it back? How do we believe them? It's
a great question. And one that's not doesn't have a simple answer.
Well, and one that I don't know that we have a great example for yet. But I'm so open to it, right? Like I'm so open to the idea, like there are some baddies out there who I don't think could ever regain any kind of admiration or anything from me, right?
Right.
Maybe probably because they never even had it in the first place. But I'm not going to name names, but there were some people who during Me Too that went away, and rightly went away, that I'm sad to have lost. Right.
Oh,
and
sure.
I would love to see one or two of them make the amends that's necessary and come back. Right. But
that's the key. You've hit the key, which is that, you know, when you've made an egregious and extraordinary error, we need to see real steps taken, like deep, important steps taken before we're going to believe that anything has happened in you.
Exactly.
And believe me, we have to know that something has happened in you before we're going to take you back.
Right.
But I do think we got to keep the door open for that. We got to. Because listen, I know how many dipshit thing I said Bulldyke today on this show. I say stupid shit. And I've said worse shit in my lifetime,
right?
And stuff that I have meant that I have had to deeply apologize for,
right?
And stuff. You know, we're 45-year-old men. We're white dudes.
Yeah.
At least you're gay, but I don't even have that going for me. So, like, I am.
It's the one time, man.
I tried. I really tried, but I'm straight. I'm sadly very straight. Anyway, the point for me is I've already made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Growing up, I made goofy voices and whatever that I now recognize to be racially insensitive.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know then that I was doing that. Now I understand it. But, you know, if I made that kind of a mistake now, I would expect to have to do a lot of penance for it, but I would hope that there would be a path back.
Yeah.
And the path would require like deep humility.
Yeah.
And a real apology. And that's the thing. People don't know how to do a real apology anymore. I'm sorry you were offended is not a real apology.
Well, yeah.
If anyone ever says to you, I'm sorry you were offended, they have not apologized at all. If they say, I'm sorry for what I did that offended you, that's closer.
Yeah.
them taking responsibility. It's not on you. It's on them. And, and that's the other thing. It's like you got to be able to do it for real, deeply, demonstrate that you know how wrong it was and why it was wrong. Demonstrate that you are committed to not doing it again, and probably demonstrate that you're committed to fighting that same kind of thing from other people.
Yeah.
And then you have to you can't, I'm actually also opposed to people asking forgiveness. I don't think that's yours to ask. I don't think anybody has the right to ask for forgiveness. Your job is to apologize and to make whatever restitution you can. And then it's up to whomever you've wronged to decide whether or not they're going to forgive you. And they may never do it. Yeah. And that's their right. Yeah. So I think if someone came, if someone committed what I will call a Weinstein. No, he's too bad. He's unretrievable. Yeah. I don't know who we canceled.
The examples are tough. I think as soon as you get to a real world example, because I would want I don't even know what I would need to see from Louis C.K.
Oh yeah,
right. But if there's somebody on the list, right, that I wish he could figure it out because I loved his stuff so much. Yeah. I hope he figures it out. I don't know if he can or will.
Yeah. Yeah. But the point here is that he has work that he has to do.
Yeah.
And before we'll accept him, and I'm not going to accept him until I feel like the women that he has wronged accept him, or at least there's some sort of restitution made to them. He doesn't owe me anything, but he owes a lot of people stuff.
Yeah.
So it's it's tricky and it's tough, and we're going to have emails come in to help us out with this concept and to correct us on things that we're probably fucking up. But I do think that that the whole idea of people are complex. There's no such thing as a good person and a bad person. There's just complex humans. We don't know why people do what they do. We just know that once they've done it, there have to be consequences and big actions taken in order to come back. If somebody is racist, if somebody is sexist, if somebody is abusive, you don't get to say I'm sorry and then it's over.
Right.
That's not how it works. But again, there's got to be a path. That's, I think, to my mind, we can't start screaming like the door is now closed.
So, are we post cancel culture? Is that the new woke?
God, I don't think two middle-aged white guys get to decide on the new woke. I think that is beyond our realm to make that call. I can just, but what I can say is that I am 100% on board with never hearing ever again from unrepentant assholes.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. And I have no problem with that whatsoever. But I'm also on board with saying, if someone says, "Hey, I want to come back," okay, show me what you got.
Yeah.
Show me
it's
first. We're not going to say we're not going to say yes to you coming back. You start. You show us what you've got, and then we'll make a decision from there.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
solving the world's problems, Dan.
Right
here on this show.
Until we get the emails. If you want to be one of those emails and cancel us, please feel free to write into us. podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Hey, look us up. Go to the Facebook page. That's what you should do. Facebook.com/TGIAtheist. We're right there. You can click that.
And also on Facebook is the TGIA Members Only Lounge. But the best way to find it is to go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com/members only, and it will take you right to where you need to go. Also, follow us on Twitter at TGIAtheist.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their fine music.
And a big thanks to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music. Also, reminder, Family Home Evening.
Oh, yeah.
Monday.
So gear up for that. Become a patron. We'll let you in. Thanks so much to everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.